Sharon's back with some tips to make the desk area work just as hard as you do, right, Sharon?
Oh yes, Tracy, and we are all working in various spaces. I know you had your studio at home for quite a while, and I pretty much do too. But it's so crazy. But we've just, we've all adapted. So everyone is so different. Their environments are so different. But the one thing that we all have in common are the diversions. Aside from the simple things like noise canceling headphones, which has been my best fashion accessory for the past few months. Aside from that, there's a lot of necessities that we all need to help us to stay focused, right?
I love that your space is not even a typical office space. Are you outside right now?
I am in my backyard studio slash office slash dining room.
See, that's kind of cool. At least you can sort of make whatever space you're using work for you. And I want to talk about color because you're Sharon Grech, and I feel like we should. Let's talk color.
All right, so that is definitely something that can really help. The colors that we surround ourselves have an impact on how we feel and how we work. So if you think about the whole color wheel or the whole rainbow of colors, the blues and greens tend to be the most calming colors. So they tend to allow us to concentrate really well. So if you're looking on Pinterest and looking at home offices, you'll see a lot of blues and greens. So it's just very calming. Neutral colors in general are also wonderful, and obviously whites and grays and beiges. Places where you kind of want colors that will kind of help you stay calm, but then you also need a little bit of excitement and some dynamic. So it's a matter of balancing that all out. So with the blues and greens, some of my favorites that I just pulled here, I've got Salisbury green. I love going to the historical colors for those more muted blues and greens. Iceberg, I've got Sea Star, and then, if you're really daring and want a really beautiful, rich area to concentrate, something like Gentleman's Gray, which is a really, really deep navy blue. But it's also the intensity of the color. So I used Calypso blue in my backdrop here, so it's a little more exciting. It's a little more, adds a bit more of a youthful, dynamic feel. So you also want to play with the intensity of color.
Oh yeah, it's a very vibrant. That's beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about if you don't have a desk, what can you consider for your working surface?
Well, I think that's a really important thing because, I've seen my son just sitting on the sofa doing his homework and last semester, and I kind of think, you know what, even if you're just using a laptop, you need to have some kind of a work surface. And for the kind of work I do, I need a lot of space, so I need something quite large. But you don't always want to buy a desk. It's not going to be permanent. So what I did here was I just built an inexpensive desk with a sheet of MDF. I had it cut to basically 4 feet by 30 inches. Painted it with advanced paint, so it's a nice durable paint. I used a pretty color. It's Sweet Daphne, so again, I'm in those blues and greens. I got some legs from Amazon. You can buy legs from IKEA. You could really customize something yourself for, under $100 for sure.
Okay, the other thing you need to stay organized often is some kind of a notice board.
Yeah, I think that's critical. And again, in a temporary space, it might seem like a little bit overwhelming. But what I did here was I used a traditional cork board and I just painted it to blend in. So again, maybe you've got a cork board that's natural cork color, but you can think about making it a little bit more funky. Maybe you could just do an accent wall. But if it's a cork board that isn't on your wall permanently, you can always remove it down the road. But that's a really good thing. And you can also buy, where did I put my cork? I think I put it over here. You can also buy these rolls of cork, so you could actually just create a whole wall of cork. And then again, if you're doing a lot of work where you're pinning things up and you're really visual, it's a really good helpful tool. Another thing, if you don't have a cork board, dry erase board is a really good idea. I know my kids like doing that. We have sort of a family calendar, but Benjamin Moore has Notable. It's a clear coat or it comes in white, but I love the clear coat dry erase because you can put it on wood, you can put it on any paint color you want, and then you use your dry erase and you can just sort of pin something up on the wall, or again, you can do it as big or as small as you want because you can get small quantities of it or large quantities, and maybe you could do an entire wall with dry erase in whatever color you want.
Very cool, Sharon, and amazing tips. I love your space.